Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Yo on the Go Leadership Moments, where we look to upgrade all the vehicles in our lives. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Lila Tretikov. She is the Deputy CTO of Microsoft. She's also been the Executive Director of the Wikimedia Foundation. We may all know what that was about. And we're super excited to have Lila here, specifically because she's also a featured speaker in the 2021 IEEE Rising Stars Conference. So Lila, thank you so much for this great opportunity to speak to a leader that's not only at the national level, but actually at the world level. And I'm really excited to hear your experiences and your leadership principles in being at the forefront of the technological evolution, especially in this time of pandemics where we're depending so much on the tools that Microsoft and other companies in this realm we're using that day to day in order to continue our business and way of life.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be a part of the event, and I love being in front of communicating with especially younger technologists. It's such an important moment for me to learn from them and hopefully a little bit of vice versa. We indeed are living through unprecedented times, and unprecedented times require really unprecedented way of thinking, I think, and collaborating. And one of the things that we've done here at Microsoft throughout this pandemic is we really stepped in as a almost an impartial convener for a lot of work that had to be done to really bring the level of resilience of our country, but also globally, to where it needs to be. And we have still a lot of work to be done. But the one thing that we really learned through this is how much leadership matters and how much diversity in leadership matters. Because it's not enough to bring a bunch of technologists into the room, and really to create resilience and social fabric of our planet. And we really think planetarily for every human, and every organization globally, we really need to bring all kinds of minds into the circle and ensure that everybody is working, has a seat at the table, and really working at the same level with others. So whether it is people who are coming from academia, medicine, pharmaceuticals, technologists, government, and policymakers, all of these people need to collaborate and learn from each other. So that's probably some of the most eye-opening piece that we've learned through this year. And I've been privileged to be a part of those conversations and bringing those teams together. So you may have seen some of this have to do with us bringing together medicine and therapies for COVID. Others is research. So things like the fight is in us. We've played exactly that kind of convening roles as part of our mobilization.
And I think Microsoft has such a great opportunity and space and depth and breadth of pervasiveness throughout our global economy. I'm just thinking in terms of, you're saying planetary, I'm starting to think probably interplanetary pretty soon. We're on our way to Mars and going to have people on the planet within our lifetimes. I think that's an incredible thing, and it'd be great to see Microsoft products running on another planet. Just imagining that. And I see, Microsoft has worked with the HoloLens, and we're so excited to see the HoloLens 2 come out. So you see it in medical imaging, medical practices, as well as the cloud infrastructure and pushes in AI and other things. It's such a broad portfolio. I'm curious to see, how do you drive innovation at each of these different levels and at each of these different breadth of experiences and capabilities? How do you drive that as CTO?
Well, it's really, as much as we would like to, to boast our technology, at the end of the day, leadership is all about people. And the most important skill, I think, in dealing with people is the act of listening, especially active listening, the ability to bring out the best ideas from even the quietest of voices. And good leaders just know how to get these ideas out, how to create an environment in which people feel safe and comfortable to share, even if they may not have the confidence to, and how to nurture that culture that allows for the best outcomes to emerge. And that's cultural, right? So it's not just at the top layers, echelons of leadership. It has to be at the team level, where 2 or 3 engineers or designers, or product managers, etc. They come together and they have these initial conversations about what are they working on and what do they need to do. So, and then I also think that every good organization, good leader at the heart really has a mission. Whether it's a corporation or whether it's an NGO, it doesn't really matter. As humans, we need that mission to guide us, kind of that North Star. So personally, I am really passionate about helping humanity shape the world for the better. And I love what technology can do for us, but I am also experienced enough to know that it can also spell peril. So from, if you look back at, the internal combustion engine, or splitting the atom, or decoding the DNA, and now to programming AI, it is up for us, for those of us who are privileged enough to actually work on these technological breakthroughs, to also think and ensure that we build them to fight the ills of our world, and not to reinforce them. So to think long term rather than just the next quarter, to shape the future for the better ultimately.
I really hear that. I hear that in your heart and desire to shape the world in a positive manner, that technology is really a tool, but it has to be wielded, and the heart of the person wielding it is just as important, if not way more important, because that heart is what shapes the world. So thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned the human part. I'm curious about you and also myself. I think we talked just earlier that you are an immigrant to the United States, and I am too. And we found, I mentioned that I've always lived in two worlds, and I've always felt like I've not fit in each, but have tried to draw from both of those perspectives. I'm curious how that experience of you immigrating from Russia to the United States and knowing those two worlds, how that's brought you to be able to lead at a global scale at Microsoft.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I'm sure your world just turned completely upside down when you moved countries, and so did mine. And I was older. I was 15, and I had this opportunity to come to United States, and it was shocking. Especially because Soviet Union was very, very different, and I was 15. I just landed in New York, and none of my expectations or what I saw on TV or thought about America were really true. But in getting entering a new country without a language, without a social network, social support network, without ability to really earn or money right away, it was very difficult. So I ended up putting myself through school on my own, and I ended up starting my first company while I was still in college. And I think a lot of that was shaped by that move. It forced me to really think outside the box and also have this growth mindset. When you are 15 and you come to a new country and you feel like you are 3 again because you don't understand some basic English, I could say, my name is Lila, whatever you responded, I wouldn't know. It puts you into that state of mind of constant sense of wonder and curiosity and ability to take some risks, and go after things that you believe are interesting or exciting or, important. So I ended up, the reason I started the company is because we were sequencing the human genome. We were
Mm.
At Berkeley, and Berkeley Stanford were collaborating, and there were all these scientists that were looking at the sequence of the genes, and they were trying to basically align, a portion of the human genome, a sequence, to let's say a mouse, so that they could experiment on that. And they were just drowning in alphabet soup, and technology is just perfect for that. And I developed some of the first tooling that I think still in use, and I'm so proud for the recent Nobel Prize for the two women that discovered CRISPR. So that set me up for this curious mindset, and I ended up carrying us throughout my life. To this day, I'm just probably too curious for my own good.
Wow, what an incredible story! What an incredible testimony! And I know that the IEEE Rising Stars is going to be a global virtual conference this year. We have contingents from around the world will be tuning in and hearing you speak. Could you share just one little bit of encouragement for all those people out there will be watching?
Well, I think with every disaster, there's a silver lining in a way. And I just mentioned the two women who discovered the CRISPR. They actually discovered it over Skype, one of them being in France and one of them being in Berkeley. And I think specifically this pandemic is enabling us to really flatten the world. Whether you live in, on any continent, whether you're in Africa and Asia and Russia and Europe and United States, we now can really collaborate, on the same level, right? We don't have to be in the same room. And I think there's incredible opportunity there for it. Now, of course, there are also some negative things that are happening, which makes it more difficult for scientists to collaborate today. But I think the technology really has opened the doors to opportunity to really expand our knowledge and expand our collaboration and break down the barriers in a major way. So I'm really positive, and I'm really hopeful that this actually will bring explosion of collaboration without borders. And another thing
Mm.
that's actually happening is that now it doesn't matter which language you speak. If you and I are speaking over over Teams, let's say, you can have automatic translation. So we can actually speak in different languages and still understand each other and still work together.
That's really incredible. I just remember when I was a kid watching TV in Malaysia, seeing Inspector Gadget and seeing this little book that opens up and having all of this translation, all these techniques. It's come to us today through all of the great innovative work that engineers at Microsoft, HP, all these other companies have put together. So it's incredible. It's been an incredible time to spend with you, to hear about your life story, and also to find encouragement in the future where we all are together in a global place and possibly even an interplanetary society. Yeah. And I'm super excited for everyone else at the IEEE Rising Stars Conference. Lila will be a featured speaker there. You'll be able to interact with her and connect with her and hear more about her story, as well as how to be a leader in these very, very interesting times. So I'm hoping that you can look into the descriptions below and click on the link to register at this global virtual Rising Stars Conference starting January 2nd, 2021. Lila, thank you so much for your time. I very much appreciate it, and hope to see you at the conference.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. And for everyone else, until next time, bye.